Account information appeared on new core sales, adjusted trial balance. So this has already been adjusted. So this is already for our statements. As of December 31st, 2017, the accounts are listed in alphabetical order. So the same way you'll get your accounts on the midterm and on the final. So prepare a classified multi-step income statement for U core sales. So the first thing, any statement, the easiest way to lose or get a mark is your title, exactly. So this is for U core sales. This is a classified multi-step income statement. For year ending December 31st, 2017. Multi-step income statement. Classified multi-step income statement. So the
sorry, in the book it just said income statement on the title.
That's fine. Income statement is fine. Multi-step income statement. First thing we need to do is and just keep an eye sort of on the columns we use, because we are going to be marking that next midterm and beyond. So we start with our sales. So our sales are for $226,500. So that's our revenue. Now we do have two contra revenue accounts here. Can anyone see what they are?
Sales discount, sales returns, allowances.
Exactly. So sales discounts and sales returns and allowances. Now, contra revenues, see how it belongs in the revenue section of the income statement, but it is a debit balance, so we will less it. It'll be a negative balance. That brings us to our net sales. To 7. So the first account we use after our net sales, when describing our expenses, what we want to do. Oh,
The sales returns and allowances is 278.
sorry. Sorry, what was that? Sorry. Sorry, is this 224753? Did I get that wrong?
No, the amount you have for discounts and the amount you have for returns and allowances are switched.
Oh, I see. Sorry. I wrote the wrong one in the wrong spot. Always copy me with pencil. So I just wrote them in the wrong spot, but the outcome will be the same, right? So our first expense, we want to determine our gross profit from sales or contribution margin. So our first expense will be cost of goods sold. Now this is our expense we use when we sell our inventory. So we want to know how much money is left over after all of our sales, less the cost of those items. So our cost of goods sold here is 129,964. And that gets our gross profit from sales.
$92.47.
What's the number? Sorry, I can't see it.
94,789.
789?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
So after that, we can start in on our expenses. So looking here, which are our expenses? Cost of goods sold is, but we've already used it.
Insurance expense?
So we'll just go through a deadline. Is depreciation expense an expense?
Depreciation expenses, insurance expense.
Yes, yes. Liabilities? No. Capital withdrawals, are those expenses?
No.
Inventory? No. Is other assets an expense?
No.
Rent expense?
Yes.
Salaries expense?
Yes.
Sales?
No.
No, no. Supplies expense?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 6 expenses here. Now, we want to split these between selling expenses and we want to split them between sales expenses and we want to split them into general and administrative expenses. So, the first one, insurance expense, this is what, if it doesn't say one way or another, sometimes it'll say insurance expense for store, and then one will say insurance expense for office. If it doesn't say, we assume it's general and administrative, so we can just put a little G on this one. Depreciation expense for office would be general and administrative, but for the store would be selling. So these are easy. Where it gets a little more complicated are these 3. Rent, 80% is sales, 20% is general administrative. So what is 80% of 19,950?
15,960.
15,960 is going to sales, and what is the leftover going to general administrative?
39.90.
39.90. How about salaries expense, 70% sales? So what is 70% of 71,000?
49,700.
49,700. And how much is going left over? 21,300. Right, we're just taking the percentage that it gives us. How about supplies expense, 35% going to sales?
What were the numbers in the rent expense?
So this, remember we got 2 more classifications. We have selling and general and administrative. So we want to split up our expenses into these 2 sections. So they gave us these percentages, we just have to do the math here to determine. So we've taken this percentage of sales and the leftover goes to general administrative. Here we've assigned them general, sales, general, just based on their accounts. So now we can get back into our operating expenses. So we've got our net sales, we've got our cost of goods sold, and we've determined our gross profit from sales. So now we can get into our operating expenses. First being our selling expenses. So we have our, moving just through the list, the first one is our depreciation expense, store, equipment, and that is for 3204. Moving through, what's the next sales expense that we see here? Rent expense. $15,960. We have sales, or salaries expense of 49,700. And we have supplies expense of 840. Total selling expenses, when we add them up, comes to
69,434.
69, sorry, what was that?
69,434.
69,704.
704. Yeah, that's what I have. Now, we can look at our general and administrative expenses. And starting from the top, just going through the list, we have depreciation expense for the office equipment, and that is for $690. We have insurance expense for $1240. Rent expense for $3,990. Salaries expense for $21,300. Supplies expense for $1560. We get total
28,780.
total supplies. No, total, pardon me. What am I doing? General and admin expenses for $28,780. And we can get our income / loss from operations And it looks like it is a loss. $3,695. Now, who would be the users of a multi-step, classified multi-step income statement? The user would be management or ownership, because this gives it a lot of detail. So they can say, hey, our administration budget is bloated, or we're spending too much here, we're not putting enough resources into sales, or vice versa, however they want to look at it. But if we were to give our income statement to an outside person, an investor or bank, government, whatever it might be, we wouldn't give them all this detail because we wouldn't want them to go in through our books. So for them, we would create a single-step income statement. Single steps are a lot easier after you do your multi-step. So we'll start with the easy mark.
What does that say at the top, sorry?
Single step income statement.
Right below the time.
Revenues. And we just give all we do is we give our totals for each of them. So here, we just give our net sales. Give our expenses. We've got our 3 sections, our cost of goods sold, our selling expenses, and our general and admin. So single step is really quite easy after you do your multi-step.